Some of you may know me as a construction management researcher. I do a lot of research in construction management, but you may not realize my undergraduate degree is actually in civil engineering. Even after I completed my undergraduate degree, I also work as a structural engineer. But then from there, I shifted my postgraduate education and also my work into the construction management discipline. My name is Risayusia Sunindio, and today I would like to share with you my personal experience, why I choose construction management as my education and my work pathway. First, we need to understand what construction management is. People have a misconception that after studying construction management in universities, then basically what we do afterwards is laying bricks, pouring concrete, becoming carpenters. Well, those professions are extremely important in the construction industry, but this is not what we do after we study construction management or when we work in the construction industry as a construction manager. So construction management is about managing construction projects, the process of building a construction project in their life cycle to achieve project objectives. So we are managing the process, we are managing the people. And I mentioned here achieving project objectives. There are 5 key project objectives. The first 3 are considered as traditional project objectives. We have time, cost, and quality. Of course, the project has to be completed on time. It should be on budget as well. And the quality should meet the expectations or the requirements of the clients as specified in the design drawings and also in the specifications. From there, nowadays we added 2 more key project objectives. The first one is work, health, and safety. We need to ensure the health and safety of our workers when they build the project. We also need to ensure the health and safety of building users and building operators. And the last one is about sustainability, especially environmental sustainability. What we build, buildings, infrastructure, they need to contribute to environmental sustainability. What we do should reduce the impact of climate change, should address even climate crisis. So this is what we do in the construction management field. Earlier, I also mentioned about project lifecycle. So these are the 5 stages in project lifecycle, and we can see how our role can be diverse depending on which stage in project lifecycle that we operate. And of course, where we operate as a construction manager also depends on our contract with the client. In some cases, we are not involved in the planning and design stage, and we only focus on the construction stage. But in other types of contract, we may be involved by the client in the earlier stage of the project life cycle. And even at the end, after the project is completed, then we can operate as a facility manager to ensure that the project or the building, the facilities are being operated in an efficient and effective manner, which meets the needs and the expectations of building users. So just quickly in the planning stage, for example, we need to conduct a feasibility study. So we support the client in conducting this feasibility study, and we give advice to the client whether they need to continue with the project or not. This is called go or no go decision. In the design stage, the first activity that we need to do is to recruit design consultants, for example, the architects and the engineers. And the engineers are composed of many engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, civil and structural engineers, and so on. And then the designers, the consultants, will develop their designs progressively from preliminary design, schematic design, and eventually construction design. In the procurement stage, we can help the client to do the process of tendering. So in the tendering process, we basically seek tender submissions from potential contractors who will build the project based on the information in the design stage. So basically based on the designs and specifications developed in the design stage. In the procurement stage, as I said earlier, after we receive the tender submissions from the potential contractors, then we will evaluate those tender submissions. So we evaluate them based on the prices that they submitted and also other criteria, for example, like schedule and then the capabilities criteria of the contractors. And then from our evaluation, then we can select the best contractor, the most suitable one to do or to build the project. So therefore now we enter the construction stage, which is usually the majority of time and resources will be spent in this construction stage. And of course, there are so many activities that we need to perform to build the project in this stage. And as I said earlier, after the project is completed, then we have what we call the facility management stage, where we can come to manage the facilities, to operate the facilities effectively and efficiently. So these are stages within construction project lifecycle, and from the stages we can see our roles in the construction industry, or the diverse roles available in the construction industry. It's very important to realize the significance or the importance of the construction industry. Then you will appreciate more the importance of this discipline. So there are 5 significances of the industry. The first one, economy. Globally, for example, the construction industry contributes about 12 to 14% of the global GDP. So it is a massive industry. In terms of employment, the same thing. Globally, again, it provides employment for more than 200 million people. So about 10% of the global workforce. If we see the example in Australia, the same thing. The construction industry is a significant pillar of the Australian economy. It is the 3rd largest industry in Australia. It contributes to approximately 9% of the country's gross domestic product. At the moment in Australia, there are more than 300,000 construction businesses, and they employ about 1.2 million people, or 9% of the workforce in Australia. Again, it is a massive industry. It's a very significant industry as well. What does it mean supporting other industries? If we consider further, actually the industry supports other industries, for example, like the furniture industry, the paint industry, tiling, even the mining industry. So their performance, in a sense, depends on the performance of the construction industry. And if we consider further what other people is doing, they depend on the construction industry. Doctors, for example, they do their work in clinics and also in hospitals. The clinics and hospitals are built by the construction industry. So the output of the construction industry is most important. The sector produces infrastructure, which is essential to the operation of other industries. When we want to transport our farm produce, for example, then we need roads, we need railways, and they are being built by the construction industry. So the industry adds value to these industries or other industries' capital worth, and the construction industry also underpins national productivity. Overall, in Australia, it supports approximately 20% of the Australian economy. The fourth significance is about sustainability. Again, if we imagine our buildings, our houses, schools, the facilities that we use on daily basis, they generate carbon emission. So the construction industry has a lot of opportunities to contribute to improving our sustainability performance. If we can make the construction industry greener, then the impact on sustainability will be very significant. And the last one is about well-being. Again, we use buildings, we use facilities, the internet, our water supply, electricity. We use them on daily basis. And again, they are built by the construction industry. So therefore, the construction industry also contributes significantly to our well-being. So I think these 5 factors show clearly the significance of the construction industry, the importance why we need to study construction management, and the importance of our work in the industry. For me personally, why I work in the construction industry previously before I became a full-time academic. So my reasons, I guess, more practical and sometimes can sound selfish as well. But these are basically my reasons. The first one, the industry is dynamic. When I work as a structure engineer, this is again my personal experience. Your experience, if you are working as engineers, may be different. That's okay. But when I work as a structure engineer, on daily basis, my activities were relatively the same. So it's basically it's only myself and my computer, because I simply design the structure of buildings. That's my work as a structure engineer. So every day, in a sense, the problem is the same. It becomes a routine for me. So when I shifted my career to construction management, it is more dynamic. The problems are diverse. Every day, the problem is different. So I guess this kind of work environment was more exciting for me. And the second reason, networks. As I said earlier, as an engineer, it's only usually between myself and a computer. Of course, sometimes I interacted with the client or the architects. And of course, I interacted with my colleagues as well. But in a sense, again, based on my experience, the networks were quite limited. But when I work in the construction industry, I could expand my networks widely, because it is normal in the construction industry. In one project, we need to interact with so many people, so many stakeholders, right? We need to interact with the clients, sometimes with government officials, with the consultants, and even the consultants themselves. There are so many of them within one project. As I said earlier, we have the architect, we have the mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, the landscape designer, and so on. And then within the construction project itself, in most cases, there will be many subcontractors involved in the construction of a building or a facility. And again, this is an opportunity to expand my networks. The third reason, which will be super selfish, the money is actually not too bad in the construction industry. So when we do well in the construction industry, then the industry, in terms of salaries, in terms of reward, can be quite significant, especially if we can climb the corporate ladder. For example, when we work in a big construction organizations, then the reward, as I said earlier, can be significant. And the last one, tangible outcomes. So at the end of the project, of course, we have the physical presence of the building or facilities. So those are the tangible outcomes. We can see the end results, the physical appearance of the end results of what we do. So I can tell a story to other people, to my families, and also to my friends, for example, especially when the project is significant and big. I can tell them, hey, this is one of my projects. I contributed in this project as so and so. And I can share my stories, my challenges, my fun activities when completing that project. I think it gives me a sense of proud or pride when I can show the results of my work to other people. So these are my 4 reasons why I chose to work in the construction industry, and still, even today, I still continue my work in this sector. And I have to share as well the challenges of working in construction. It's not always wonderful, always smooth sailing. There are many challenges as well. So these are my top 4. The first one, the work itself is very stressful because there are so many demands, there are so many requirements, and many pressures as well to complete a project or even a work package within a certain time frame and also a certain budget. And even after we complete one work package, and then the next one will come, another deadline will come. So it can be quite a stressful work environment. The second one, long work hours. When I work in the industry, for example, I need to work. I had to work long hours, and of course on Saturday as well. Although nowadays the industry has started to change slowly, and there has been a push for construction workers to work only 5 days a week. But generally, again, long hours is always the norm in the construction industry. The third challenge, managing diverse stakeholders. So I said earlier, I can expand my networks because I work with a lot of people, but at the same time, working with people can be a challenge as well. Everyone has their own styles, they have their own agendas and preferences, and sometimes conflict can occur. And as construction managers, we need to manage the expectations of all stakeholders to ensure project objectives can be achieved successfully. And the last one, the industry is well known or notoriously known to have poor health and safety records. And nowadays we can see as well, this is not about physical safety only, but when we work in a stressful work environment, when we work long hours, we manage difficult stakeholders, this also can affect our mental health negatively. So therefore, this is another, I guess, key challenge of working in the construction industry, how we can maintain our mental health, how we can cope with all the stresses which integral with the work in the industry. So that's it. Just would like to share my experience concerning my work in the construction industry and why I chose to work in this exciting industry. I hope you enjoy my sharing.